Dating as a polyamorous person is often not very easy. For the vast majority of fellow daters, non-monogamy itself is a deal breaker. And when you do find a potential connection, there's a decent chance that they either think polyamory is just quick hookups or that you're only polyamorous until you find the one, which honestly is just monogamy. But anyway, now obviously those things are out of our control. However, sometimes the dating obstacles we face are of our own making. There are some things we can control to improve our odds of success in the dating world. Let's talk about 10 polyamorous dating mistakes. Mistake number 1. Not being upfront about being polyamorous. I do understand the hesitancy. Like I said, most people will not give you a chance just because you're non-monogamous. But it is a necessity to tell your potential connections about your polyamory as soon as possible. I've seen the question asked multiple times, when should I tell someone that I'm poly? And I often see the answer on the first date. Personally, I think you should tell them way sooner than that. If they don't know you're polyamorous by the time you're on your first date, you're potentially setting yourself up to drop a bomb on them. Plus, if you get caught up in good conversation, there's a chance you will feel awkward bringing it up. And the longer you wait, the worse it could potentially be. If you're online dating, I highly recommend putting it right in your bio. Yes, you will get fewer matches, but do you really want all of those matches that won't be interested anyway? Mistake number 2, not being open to answering questions or not asking questions. There's a reason we talk about communication so much when we talk about relationships and dating. Polyamorous relationships are all unique, and if you're dating as a polyamorous person, you need to be willing to be open about how your relationship structure works. It's so easy to get caught up in a go-with-the-flow mentality and avoid necessary conversations. That's right, positivity can also be toxic if it's keeping you from communicating. You should also be very upfront about communicating your insecurities. If something bothers you, have a conversation about it. If something bothers them, be willing to have a conversation about it. And if the person you're talking to seems to be avoiding the subject, ask them about it. Asking and answering questions is critical to polyamorous dating. Mistake number 3, too many rules. On the flip side of not communicating enough, there is a such thing as too many rules. Setting boundaries and expectations with your partners and new connections is very important. But don't create boundaries and rules that are so complicated that people feel like they have to figure it out. Dating someone can be far less enjoyable when you feel like you have to walk on eggshells to not break any of their very specific rules and boundaries. Now, when it comes to big triggers, be very specific. But otherwise, I say try to be flexible. Mistake number 4, constantly venting or complaining about partners to other partners. Communicating issues you're having in your relationships is very important, but maybe not always to other partners. Constantly complaining about your other relationships causes tension between your partners, and that's never good. Also, the partner you're talking about is not there and has no voice, so you might unintentionally be painting them as a villain when they're not. Also, if you're complaining about your partner so much, should you even be in that relationship? Mistake number 5, using will always come first language. Now, dating with a relationship hierarchy with primary and secondary partners can be valid, but I often see people saying that their primary will come first before they've even met this other person. Even if you do have a partner that you prioritize over others, nobody likes to feel like they're being put in a limited little box before you even know them. Also, to be frank, it's just not that realistic. What does this person always comes first even mean? If someone's having a rough time and needs your help really badly, are you really going to prioritize something trivial with another partner because they always come first? That seems like a little too rigid of a mindset to me. If you're finding value in this video so far, please hit the like button. It really helps me with the algorithm. Thanks. Mistake number 6, making your entire online dating profile about polyamory. As I mentioned earlier, if you're online dating, I do think that stating polyamory in your bio is the way to go. However, the purpose of an online dating profile is to give a snapshot of who you are as a person, and you are more than your relationship structure. Don't make your bio read as though it's an instruction manual for how limited you are. State that you're polyamorous and then have a conversation about it. It's okay to get more specific later. Mistake number 7, thinking partners are obligated to date each other. Dating as a couple can be valid, but you should be extremely clear that that's the situation. Don't date someone on your own with the assumption that they'll want to date your partner if things go well. Maybe they will want to date your other partners, but that should happen organically. I recently had a friend tell me they went on a first date where the person's partner tried to join the date without my friend having any clue that was the situation. Do not be those people. Mistake number 8. Assuming other people's relationship structures and boundaries. There are endless possibilities with how polyamorous relationships can function. It's actually quite rare to find two people with the exact same structure. You should be aware if someone has relationship boundaries that might affect you. As much as I don't like it, some polyamorous people have a veto system where they can end their other partner's relationships. This goes back to asking the right questions of people you're talking to. Be careful not to get blindsided by something you didn't expect. Mistake number 9, jumping into every relationship you possibly can. Just because you can date anyone doesn't mean you should date everyone. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you've probably heard me say that once or twice, because it is so important. This is fairly common with people who open up a previously monogamous relationship. Once they start practicing polyamory, this newfound sense of freedom sometimes makes people go wild with dating new people. Be very careful not to overextend and overcommit. If you date too many people, you can end up spreading yourself thin and neglecting all of them. Also, jumping into any relationship you possibly can might cause you to ignore red flags. You might be so eager to date that you jump into a relationship with someone who's not actually okay with polyamory. This happens so often the community has a term for it. Cowboy or cowgirl. Would cowpoke be the gender-neutral term for that? I don't know. This is a person who dates polyamorous people with the intent of roping them into a monogamous relationship. Be careful not to fall into that trap. Mistake number 10. Not communicating availability. People's needs when it comes to time and attention can vary dramatically. Some people are alright meeting up once a month for a quick hangout, and others might expect a ton of time and attention. It is very important to state your own availability. At one point in my polyamory journey, I had 5 partners. Now, to some people, that might sound absolutely wild. Nobody has time for that many people. But they all had varying expectations of my time and attention, and I was able to balance that properly. You know what, actually, I just thought of something, and I'm gonna improv a little bit. Here's a bonus mistake. This one's not even polyamory specific. Being negative all the time. While I understand that the world can be a really terrible place sometimes and it's not all sunshine and rainbows, it is not fun to talk to or date someone who constantly brings you down. Dating someone new is supposed to be a happy experience, so don't make every conversation about how everything sucks. There is good in the world, and people like to date people who remind them of that. If you've made any of mistakes, that doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't make you bad at polyamory. I've made at least half of these mistakes myself at some point. The important thing is that you're moving in the right direction. Thinking about and improving upon these things can really up your polyamory dating success. So, did I miss anything? Do you disagree with something? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified. I've been keeping a list of things that you have requested, and there is so much more to come. Until next time, peace.